All right, welcome to dividing polynomials with synthetic division. So we'll get started. So with number one, you always have to look at the exponents. They have to step down by 1 each time. You might think x doesn't have an exponent, but it does. You may say this -6 doesn't have an exponent, a constant term, but it actually does. So we go 3, 2, 1, 0. Perfect. It steps down. We're not missing any terms at all. So our next step, after we look at that, then we're looking at the coefficients. So the coefficient of x squared, there's a 1 there. Next coefficient is 4. Then it's a positive 1. Then it's a -6. So we're going to take those coefficients and we're going to write them down. So we have 1, positive 4, positive 1, -6. Now, our next thing is we're looking at what we're dividing by, the divisor. And you're going to do the opposite. This is x plus 1. We're going to divide by -1 or a -1. And you could look at it as you're going to divide by the solution. So you take the factor, what you're factoring, you're dividing out, and you make it equal to a solution. So -1. All right, continuing to set up the synthetic division. I draw an arrow just to give myself some room here because there will be numbers. That arrow also reminds me that the first term, the coefficient, comes down, and we drive down below. Our answer is going to be below the line. So now we do -1 times 1, which is -1, and we put it right below the next number, the next coefficient. And we will add 4 plus -1 is 3. Now let's repeat that process again. -1 times 3 is -3. Put it up above. And we would add -1 1 plus -3 is -2. Let's repeat that process again. -1 times 2 is 2 negatives multiplied by a positive. We add -6 plus 2 is -4. All right, here comes the next. So now we have all of our coefficients of the answer. Now we need to look at our initial exponent, our leading exponent of what is being divided and what is divided by the divisor. So we have x to the third, and we're dividing by x. What does that come out to be if you divide that? Well, that should be x squared. Like bases, you're subtracting exponents. So that tells us our very first coefficient here will have a 1 come down, but it'll be 1x squared. And now the 3, we're going to go for x squared. The next x that would be stepping down from an exponent of 2 is to the first. Then it'd be to the 0, which is just the constant term. And our remainder is -4. So you could have that. I would do ultimately 1 times x squared is x squared. 3x to the first is just 3x minus 2. A remainder of -4 doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, so we would write it as a -4 over, or you could do plus a -4 over, and it's being divided by x plus 1. That's the answer I like the best. All right, for B, we have the exponents definitely do not go down, so we have 3 down to 0. So we're missing 2 and 1, so it'll be x to the third plus 0x squared plus 0x plus 27. So our coefficients are 1, 0, 0, 27. In the backwards little box, what are we going to put? It's going to be the opposite, x plus 3, so it'll be a -3. Again, you can make that your solution if you'd like. Bring the first coefficient down. That's going to be our first coefficient of our answer. -3 times 1 is -3. Add 0 plus -3 is -3. -3 times -3 is 9. Add 0 plus 9 is 9. -3 times, so I'm always looking back here at -3 times 9 is -27. Add 0. Cool. So our remainder is 0. are, now I'm going to look up top. We have x cubed divided by x, and what's that going to be? X squared. So our very first coefficient is 1, and then it's going to be x squared minus 3x to the first. We don't need that. Plus 9x to the 0 power, and we don't need x to the 0, and it has a remainder of 0. I'm going to clean this up a little, simplify it. 1 times x squared is x squared minus 3x plus 9. Perfect. And looking at our next problem, we have exponents 3, 2, 1, 0. Awesome. Cool. So we have no missing terms. Next, look at your coefficients. We have 5, -6, 4, -1. What goes in the backwards little box? Well, this is x minus 3, so it's going to be a positive 3. First term comes down. That is going to be the coefficient of your first term of your answer. We do 3 times 5 is 15. Add. That'll be 9. 3 times 9 is 27. Add. 31. 3 times 31, oh my goodness, this is getting big. 93. Add. And -1 plus 93 is 92. That is your remainder, 92. Ugh, that's ugly. Whatever. We have 5x cubed divided by x. Ultimately, it's about the exponents, so it'll be 5x squared plus 9x to the first. Remember, they have to go down by, the exponents are going to go down by 1. You don't need the 1 there. Plus 31, and that's x to the 0 with a remainder of 92. So you can write it like this, or a positive 92. So it's plus 92, and you're still, that is divided by x minus 3. That's the best answer. That's the one I like the best. All right, so number 2, use synthetic division to determine the divisor of the factor if the divisor is a factor of the polynomial. So we have coefficients, or our exponents go 3, 2, 1, good, 0, perfect. Looking at our coefficients, 1, -2, -2, -5, and 6 are, what we're dividing by is going to be -2, the opposite of x plus 2. Bring the 1 down. -2 times 1 is -2. Add. That'll give us 0. -2 times 0 is 0. Add. -5 plus 0 is -5. -2 times -5 is 10. Add. 16. So we have a remainder of 16. So x plus 2 is not a factor of x cubed minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. All right, next we have exponents go 3, 2, 1, and it's the constant term, 0. Awesome. Then we look at the coefficients, make sure we know what they are. We have 1, -6, 3, and 10. Write those down. What you're dividing by is x minus 5, so we're going to have a positive 5 in the little backwards box. Opposite. 1, 5 times 1 is 5. Add. And 5 times -1, -5. Add 3 plus -5 is -2. 5 times -2 is -10. Add 0. That means we have a remainder of 0. And because we have a remainder of 0, x minus 5 is a factor of x cubed minus 6x squared plus 3x plus 10. Cool. We found that it is a factor. And you can actually see, if once you divide it out, you have 1 x squared left plus, or minus 1 x minus 2. That it would be your, what happens if once you divide x minus 5 out. The other factor is x squared minus 1x minus 2. All right, A here, find the mistake. So we have exponents 3, 2, 1, constant term. Cool. That goes down, so that's not the mistake. There's not, because I don't see a 0 here. So that's not the mistake of we missed a term. Let's see, look at coefficients. 2, good. 6, good. -5, good. -60, good. All right. Next thing we have, what we're dividing by is always the opposite. That's x plus 1, so we'll have a -1. That's good. So the setup is good. 2 comes down. Okay, that's good. -1 times 2 is -2, so that's good. And then we should add 6 plus -2. Oh, 8's not right. That should be 4. And then obviously everything after this is going to be wrong. So now we do -1 times 4 is -4. Add them. That's going to be -9. -1 times -9 is +9. Add, and you're going to get -51. So that would be your final answer. You have x to the third and x, so that'll be x squared. So you'll have 2x squared. So our first term is 2x squared plus 4x to the first minus 9x to the 0, or just minus 9, with a remainder of 51. So you could put a plus, a -51 over x plus 1. And that would be your final good answer. But we found looks like whoever did this subtracted instead of adding, because 6 minus -2 is +8. All right, B, we're going to find the remainder on this. Something new. Looking at your exponents, 3, 2, 1, 0. Cool. No terms missing. And coefficients, we have 2, 6, -5, -60, x plus 1. So we need the opposite, -1 in the box. So we're dividing by -1. 2 comes down, -1 times 2 is -2. 6 plus -2 is 4. -1 times 4 is -4. Adding, -9. -1 times -9 is +9. Adding is -51. So our remainder, that's all I want for this, is -51. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this